Hey everybody, it's Brendan Burchard and
Denise Burchard.
that's my wife and my cutie patootie, my sunshine. And today is Transformation Week, day number 2, where we're gonna share with you how do you generate more energy in your life. Session number 1 was all about how do you get more clear about who you are, what you want, where you're going, because listen, I think all transformation really becomes and starts from clarity. But ultimately, listen, if you don't have good energy on that path, you're toast. And this girl has kept me healthy and happy energetically for so many years. It's been like my unfair advantage is having good energy in my life, spiritually, mentally, physically, just being around people of great energy. And so we thought we'd talk about that, because if your energy is low in any of those areas, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, then life doesn't feel good.
Yeah, your presence and your productivity are jeopardized if you can't come in to each day with your maximum amount of energy or how to manage it.
That's it. It's so huge. And I mean, if you saw like I just finished a tour, went to 4 different cities, spoke to 4,000 people live. We've been shooting. This is like our 8th video today. Like, it's like if I couldn't manage my energy, these videos would suck. Don't say it if they do. But we really want to jump into Transformation Week and add a lot of value here. So a couple of reminders. Number 1, as we are teaching this, there's a worksheet down below that you can kind of print out and journal along with the lessons we're going to teach. Because Denise teaches 3 in these, and then I teach 3. So she teaches 3 points, I teach 3 points. But you want to write down what's real for your life. Yeah. In the worksheet down below. Also down below, you can comment and enjoy and participate in the conversation happening in real time as this video is going right below. And then of course you can join us on social media by using hashtag Transformation Week, hashtag HPXLife. People asked last time, what does HPX stand for? We forgot to say it.
Oh.
HPX stands for the High Performance Experience. If you've read my book or studied my work for the last 20 years, I've always been about studying high performers, people who are the most successful in any area of their life. And how did they get there that way? What were their mindset? What were their habits? What were their relationships like? How did they lead? And so HPX is just our short version of saying high performance experience, because we believe everybody wants to live that high performance experience in life. And clearly, one big differentiator of high performers is their energy. Mm-hmm. Like it just, they have more stamina, presence, buoyancy, positivity. Something's different about them. So we're gonna share 3 pieces each. I think my first one is a very simple one, and that is just be responsible for the energy you are projecting into this world. You know, like your attitude, the energy you give other people. Like stop pretending that like the energy you have is just, it happens. Like people say, oh, I don't know, I just feel this way. I'm like, no, you had thoughts and you had conditioning that led to the energy you have today. And when people are being mean or rude or negative, often they're not being thoughtful about the energy they're projecting into the world. But your kids see your energy. Your family sees your energy. The people you lead, the people who watch you and follow you, they see the energy you're putting out in the world. So be intentional about it and condition yourself so that you have the energy that you want. And what you are putting out there is energy you're intentional about. My whole life, I've tried to be one of the most positive, joyous people around me. Sometimes I fail at that in my marriage or on stage or out in the world. But it's like something I work so hard at, because it's natural for me to be like, very quiet, very reserved, which people never believe. But as a 6-time author, I'm kind of an introverted guy to write my books. But when I'm out with people, I have to not just say, oh, I'd like to pull away energy. I have to go, no, my part of my mission is to connect with people. Let me be intentional about the energy I'm giving them versus sucking it in. Let me generate energy for the people around me. That's the defining metaphor Denise knows of my life, is the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. You don't have any emotion or have any feeling ongoing over a period of time. You're generating it by your thoughts, your actions, your conditioning. And once you take responsibility for your energy in your life, that's transformation, baby.
Yeah, and it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
That's it. What's yours?
My first one is to find your rhythm, and whatever in the day makes sense for you. And I think everyone's got a different schedule throughout their day, and so find the things that help you get excited or naturally generate energy for you, and make sure that you're doing something with that every single day. For us, I think movement is a big thing, that we are more energized when we exercise, when we move around. So if it's starting your morning out with exercise, maybe you wake up an hour earlier, or maybe you wake up 30 minutes earlier and you meditate, because that makes you feel really grounded and prepared for the rest of your day. Or you find, working out in the evening after you come home from work, or you're done with a bunch of stuff, or picking up the kids, or whatever it is, that's your time to set aside for you, then schedule it there. And don't be so locked into that can't change. So as your life changes, and maybe you're in transition, or you're taking on a new role with a new job or a new venture, and that schedule is completely different, it's okay that maybe something that worked for you in the past is in a different time now. Just find a home for it so that you can continue to generate the energy that you want to deliver your message, to deliver the role that you want to be for other people, and to be in alignment with who you want to be for yourself.
Yeah. I love that. It's like, because your schedule changes so much. Like, we didn't mention in the first episode, like, how much our daily schedules have changed.
Yeah.
Because Denise used to be at like the studio, she'd be up at like 4 a.m. at the studio at like, 5:30 or something?
No, just seemed like that because somebody was still sleeping.
I'm not the morning person. I also want to tell you, honey, like, I really appreciate your energy in these episodes, because some of you all don't know, like, I've been doing this for 15 years. And this beautiful woman over here has literally just started doing videos with me and podcasts and episodes. And this is like scary for her. And she's just like choosing to generate this good energy to deliver for you guys. And it's not her natural realm. And it's super hard to step, just like sit next to someone who's been on video for 15 years of their life.
No pressure.
No pressure. And you're just doing awesome. I love you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you. My second point is about joy. And that is, I think if there is any defining emotion or feeling that we're all after, is joy, but we keep waiting for someone to make that happen for us, or we hope one day we have everything we want, so now we can be happy and successful. And I just want to remind you, like, part of the mission in life is to bring joy to other people. And so first, evaluate your life and say, what are the things in your life that does not bring you joy? What are the activities that you hate? Can you stop them, delegate them, spend less time on them? What are things you really love to do? Can you give them more of your time, attention, and energy? Like, you should have like a joy list. A lot of people have a to-do list, but I'm like, what's your overall joy list? What brings great joy into your life? Like, for some people, that's like spending more time with their kids, or doing a specific art thing that they do, or contributing a specific thing. But if you don't know what naturally brings you joy, then I think, well, I got to ask, like, what's up with you? Like, you're an adult now. You should know the things, not just passion, but like things that surprise you, bring you genuine, thoughtful joy. I would say also bring the joy. Like, if you ever came over to our house, people always say, well, Brendan, what should I bring? Some, wine, some hors d'oeuvres, potluck or whatever. I'm like, if you come over to our house, bring the joy. Your attitude that you bring into our life is the most important thing. So bring joy to the people around you. Like, so many people, because they've never been, taught consciously how to use their mind, they just kind of go through the days, and maybe they didn't do as much personal development work as you guys have. So they really struggle with, random emotions and bad feelings and horrible self-talk. So what if you could be the person who brings a smile to that waiter, brings a smile to that stranger, brings a smile to that person you lead? What if you could be the energy pace setter for the people around you? That's what I mean when I say bring the joy. Like, you bring the energy around to other people, give them that gift of joy, be the most positive person in their life, because it will shock people. It will make you a better leader. It will make you a more intentional human. And because you're bringing joy, you will ultimately feel it more, because when you share joy with other people, they share that spark back with you, and that magical thing kind of happens.
That's great. It's a conversation that way.
Yeah. Joy is a conversation, not a one-time feeling. I love that. Yeah.
It's a loop.
What's yours?
My second one is to do something that empowers you in the morning. So if you can start your day off feeling successful and accomplished right off the bat, then do something that sets the tone for your entire day, whether that is waking up and meditating, waking up and working out, if it's interacting with your kids or interacting with your spouse and having a moment of connection with them, if it's going out into the world, and if you have a team, connecting with everyone in your team or everyone in the office. I know my dad goes in and the first thing he does is he goes around and says hello to every single person in the office and generates that connection and relationship with them.
Yeah.
That really,
I could see him doing that.
Yeah. Uplifts them. So find something, and I'm going to challenge you guys to write that down today. What is that thing that makes you feel successful and empowered and gives you energy? That kind of, you were talking about the joy and the being a conversation. So what is it that you feel like you can contribute, or that action or thing or whatever it is for you that feels like it kind of pumps you up with energy, not depletes you. And you'll start your day feeling filled up, so you have more to give throughout, and you've got more energy to spend on everything else that you want to accomplish.
I love that. I'll share one with you that I never thought I would share, but entering our 40s and being in a place where some of you were with me or in our community when I had a brain injury in 2011. This is not a takeaway I would think about, but now it's like I just tell people straight out, like, supplement for your energy. And some of you already do that. You're like, oh, Brandon, I love this one. I can hit my Starbucks, give my caffeine, have my pre-workout Energizer, all that stuff. I was the guy for years who just was anti that. I said, I'm going to use my mind, my will. I'm going to physically condition myself that I always have this energy. And then I had my brain injury, and all of a sudden I had this like brain fog, this mental fog, this lack of clarity throughout the day. I would be really sharp, mentally, like 1 or 2, 3 times a day versus like all day. And I lost mental focus, energy, and mood, frankly. And it wasn't good. And then as I've been more and more challenged in my life to now, I used to speak to 300 people for an hour, and now I speak to thousands of people for 4 days at High Performance Academy. All of that growth in our industry has required me to be, quote unquote, on more, and sometimes like at superhuman levels. Mm-hmm. Like if you've ever had to entertain 2,000 people for an hour, try that for literally 12 hours a day for 4 days by yourself. Like it is physically a marathon a day. Literally, I burn as much as if I ran a marathon a day when I'm on stage. And so I had to learn to like get honest and go, my body can't naturally do that by itself. Some of you have tremendous stress. You should take some supplementation for that stress. Some of you have like extraordinary physical needs because you're working out so hard, you need some extra protein, right? I was just like anti any of that stuff. But then after the injury, I started studying a specific area called nootropics, which is like what you can do to optimize your brain health, your mental focus, your mood. And over the course of like 6 or 7 years, dialing that in, learning what it is for me. Some of you know when we launched HPX Optimize, which is our supplement, I launched it really for our community of people who were just saying, Brendan, how do you have that mental energy? How do you have that mental focus? Why is your mood so good? That's what this is out. If you guys haven't seen this before, it's called HPX Optimize. This is literally the supplement that I spent 3 years developing with pretty much the smartest people on the planet. And Denise designed it. It's pretty. I was gonna design like a dude, like a bro pre-workout. It was like black and like lightning bolts and like yellow. She made this very, very beautiful thing. But it kind of fits it because
let's adjust that.
She's like, let's make it. She was really smart. She's like, let's make it befitting to what it is. This is the world's like best formulated nootropic, meaning for brain health, mental focus, and energy. It is one. It's a formula that if you went out and you tried to buy all these things separately, it would cost you more. But two, our sourcing. It's non-GMO, soy-free, gluten-free, and caffeine-free. So if you want your coffee, you can still have it. But this will just. It has all the nootropic ingredients that help you keep so focused throughout the day. And I bring that up because this was something that in my 20s and 30s I thought was a weakness. And now I'm like, no, we carry so much stress. So we have adaptogens in here to help you deal with your stress. We have so much demand on our mind to be creative and focused and smart these days. Like you can't afford to be good for 3 hours. You've got to be amazing all day. And so I tell high performers all the time, I'm like, like visit with your doctor, visit with your nutritionist. I'm not saying this is appropriate for everybody. You should, anytime you go to take a supplement, like consult your doctors, consult your nutritionist, ask, the professionals. But I just say, like, keep an open mind that maybe if you've been really struggling physically or mentally or emotionally, maybe you need to go get some help. And sometimes that means, you go and your nutritionist is like, hey, look, we checked your blood and you're low in these types of things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's your doctor is like, oh, you're feeling fatigued all the time. Maybe it's because of this. For me, my doctor told me, hey, have you had a brain injury recently? And I'm like, what? No. He said, no. He's like, nothing's changed in your life. I'm like, no.
Just everything.
And I was like, well, he said, have you had any injuries? I said, well, yeah, I snapped my wrist off. He said, what happened? I said, well, I wrecked an ATV when I was on this bachelor party with some friends. He says, well, what happened? I said, well, I threw out my hip, dislocated my shoulder, hurt my ribs. But I got away lucky. He says, well, did you hit your head? I'm like, well, I had a helmet on. He says, well, did you feel like you saw stars? Did you black out? And I was like, well, yeah. And I didn't think of anything. He's like, well, have you done a brain scan since then? I said, no. He says, well, that might explain all these other symptoms you're describing to me. So I shared that because if I hadn't consulted experts when I felt like my life was a little off, like that brain fog I was telling you about, that sudden mental fatigue, that sudden mood changes I was having, if I hadn't told somebody about it, I would have never gotten treated. And when I got treated, what did they do? They put me on supplementation to increase oxygen and blood flow to my brain. And that's what the world of nootropics kind of does. That's how I discovered how to do all this stuff. And so I just share with you, please be open. If you've been struggling to figure things out by yourself energetically, maybe it's time to consult that nutritionist or that doctor. Mm-hmm. And if all I could do is tell people all day long, hey, you know what, consult the experts, that's going to be something of service to you, because your physical energy, your emotional vitality, that stuff matters about how life feels. So take it seriously and see the experts.
That's great. My third one is to be disciplined about your self-care. So it kind of goes along with that in terms of supplementation, but also in terms of, I think, your sleep. If you're, definitely, if you're not getting enough sleep, I know that can be a challenge, then set your alarm that tells you, hey, start going to bed, or start getting ready for bed. And if you're like me, you kind of get a second wind and then you forget, and then you're really tired, but you don't feel tired.
She literally has that alarm on your phone. It says,
I do.
Like 2 hours before bedtime, it says start getting ready for bed.
Well, maybe 2 hours before your bedtime.
Oh, that's true.
But so it's a start getting ready for bed. Or if we were talking about this the other day, I found I wasn't wanting to go to sleep because we were eating dinner so late. Then I would set another alarm for hey, start making dinner. Just starting to set those habits that set you up for success with sleep, because without sleep, you can't cope. You have no energy. You'll probably be a little more irritable and short with people. You'll not be quite as sharp with your output or what you're thinking about. So sleep. If you meditate, schedule your meditations. If you work out, I hope you work out. If you don't, do some sort of movement, even if it's taking a walk, and schedule that throughout the week so that you have a plan to take care of yourself whenever that is. And then the other thing I would also nutrition, eat lots of greens. The other thing I'd also say is to be responsible with your social activities as well, and how that impacts your energy. I know for me, I am a huge introvert. So when I was at the studio and I was interacting with people all day who I love, I was expending a lot of energy doing that, and then I would come home and I would go down to the basement and shut the entire world out. And I would schedule things with friends because I really wanted to see them, but I knew if I scheduled too many things, even though I love those people and I wanted to see them, I would be out of energy. So I just had to figure out what the right balance was for me, to continue to be able to generate the type of energy to actually spend quality time with people and be present in their presence, to cultivate the relationships versus show up and just be completely wiped out. So for me, I know I'm an introvert, and that may not resonate for those of you who are extroverts, but I know there are probably a lot of introverts out there who are probably nodding their heads. So just figure out what it is for you, and it's totally okay. That's just you. You got to figure your rhythm and take care of yourself, and everything else will balance out with the energy that you have. So make a list of what those things are for you that, number one, makes your rhythm throughout the week and what works and what doesn't work. Number two, those things that make you feel empowered in the morning. And number three, how you can take better care of yourself to be disciplined about your own energy.
I love that. I love that. Mine were be responsible for your energy overall in your life. Number two, bring joy on purpose to other people. Number three, supplement where you need the help or the assistance if your body isn't doing it on its own, or you don't feel like you have the energy throughout the day. It might be very basic nutritional things, or you might need some type of supplementation to support you, which is a new one for me. And I'll just add something she said. I think self-care, so many people address that as like some kind of like luxury or one day I will kind of thing. I'm like, no, if you haven't been intentional about like building and storing energy in your body, physically and emotionally, I think you're missing out on the great qualities of life. And so really do that. For me, my big breakthroughs where I'm very consistent on sleep. If I don't sleep 7.5 or 8 hours every single night, then I take a nap during the next day at some point to catch up. I meditate pretty consistently every day. Once in a while I miss a meditation, but fairly rarely. I do the release meditation technique. You can look it up on YouTube. It's called the release meditation technique. I do that. Number three, movement. And mostly inspired by this woman, I work out pretty much 5 days a week. For like 20 years, I've worked out every other day of my life. And I've never worked out to like bulky or huge or abs. I just was like, I want to move so that the next day I feel like flowing, I feel open, I have mobility, I just have the energy. It's never been for a look, it's for the energy. And so that's what I really want to hone to you in this last part of this message is Transformation Week is all about transforming your life. Session 1 was about getting clear about who you are, what you want, where you're going, what's going to be important in your life. Session 2 here today was about taking control of your energy. Like you have to take control of your energy if you're going to transform your life, right? So figure out your practices, fill out the worksheet, participate in the comments down below. And then last, I think energy also comes from education. The more you're learning, the more you're hearing from inspiring voices, the more you can change your life. So make sure you do yourself a favor, subscribe to our HPX podcast, where we are, if you're watching us on video, we also put this audio up while we're running this promotion up on the podcast, as well as there's a season in the podcast. There'll be a link down below where you can go listen to High Performance Habits. So if you like these ideas, we go further into the research, deep dive training. And then finally, if you really love what we're doing here, access any of our other tools, our planners, our supplements, our online courses or coaching, because we are literally trying to surround you with HPX, which again is that high performance experience. So in other words, stay engaged in the learning, do your homework, and have that goal, that will, that desire to live a high performing life in whatever way that you can. Denise always says this thing I love.
Every day you have a choice. You can choose to be average, or you can choose to become extraordinary.
So my friends, go be extraordinary. Denise and I look forward to seeing what you thought about this session as well. So please comment on social media, use hashtags Transformation Week, hashtag HPX Life, so we can find you. When we find people, we celebrate you, we share you out on my Instagram. We also give swag and items like our supplements or our books or our tools often to people who are really engaging in this community. Hashtag Transformation Week, hashtag HPX Life. Thanks all for joining us in this session. In our next session, we talk about raising necessity as the critical difference maker between unsuccessful people and successful people. So make sure you listen to that one. With that, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, y'all.